right. Thanks very much, folks. So let's get stuck. Look at these glamorous people. Good Lord. I feel so underdressed here. I really do. Tell me why you're a brand.
My brand. Ooh, okay, where do I begin? Well, I'm just a 26-year-old boy from KZN. I'm a presenter, and I represent...
Tell us a little bit about yourself. I mean, you know, we're in the business together here. What do you do? Tell us about how difficult it is and how you got your start.
Right, like I said, I'm a 26-year-old boy from KZN, and I'm a TV presenter by profession. I present on a show called Silly Matunzi, of which is one of the oldest and most, yes, Candice Laugh. She's part of it as well. So yeah, I'm just a TV presenter, man, and I'm on Silly Matunzi, I'm on Ukhozi FM as well, and yeah, I'm just trying to figure out
Ukhozi FM
this
is the
whole...
biggest radio station in the Southern Hemisphere, am I right?
Yes, it is.
How many listeners?
Yes, 7.6 million.
7.6 million listeners. Okay, I did a gig on Power 98.7 last year or the year before. We were excited, I think, when we got to 200,000 listeners. So, how things have changed. What's your brand? You didn't tell me what your brand is. Define your brand.
Ooh, how do I define my brand?
Do you see yourself as
evolving?
Do you see yourself as a brand?
Yeah,
You have
definitely.
to. I mean, when you reach these rarefied heights that you've all reached in your careers,
definitely.
you are a brand, yeah?
Ever evolving. I'm a person that always tries...
Okay, guys, can we try and boost the sound a little bit on this mic? Thank you.
Testing, 1, 2.
Okay, all right.
Can I go now? Yes.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah, every evolving brand. Literally, I'm always trying to see myself as an entrepreneur first before a TV presenter. I'm always trying to sell myself, always trying to recreate who I am, because that's what presenting is all about. People tend to always mix up acting and presenting. You know, the difference is that people relate to me because of who I am, and if I am in touch of me, then I'm relatable to the next person, and that's who I am, and that's what my brand is.
Let's move down the line. How do you see yourself as a brand? If you see yourself as a brand.
Yeah, I do see myself as a brand, but my brand is about challenging the status quo. In that, he said it that I'm an entrepreneur before any other business involvement. I'm an entrepreneur before the author. I'm an entrepreneur before all the things that I've been engaged in. And how I challenge it is, it's interesting today. We're sitting with a number of entrepreneurs, and one of the biggest challenges, it's really about how to get started. And I've learned the unique way on how to get started without using absolutely nothing.
So what's the secret? Share it with us. How did you get started?
How you get started, remember, many entrepreneurs, the reason why they need capital is that they want to start operating a business at a specific level, not at the ground floor level. And as a result, you find that they need to then get capital in order to start operating at a certain level. So I've learned to start humbly and yet build your way up as quickly as you possibly can.
How do you see yourself as a brand? And how does it manifest itself through the lens of a camera?
My brand is my purpose. My purpose is who I am, what I stand for.
That's getting
what I
too
believe in.
philosophical. If
No,
I
but
hear
it is.
this word purpose one more time
No, it is.
today, and it is getting late, okay, what
It
does
gets
that
at
mean?
that. Purpose means you understand what you are before you start engaging reality, using the tools, using your hands, using your mind, driving a car. So everything you touch, you manifest who you are within it. Like you said, how does it manifest?
Well,
or
how do
translate?
you live that?
Say in photography, I've done it through seeing beauty in everything. Obviously, growing up in Port Elizabeth, it's a beautiful city, but it's not.
Look, I know PE well. That's where I got my start. I'm not going to hold that against you.
Yeah, so learning photography in Port Elizabeth was finding the beautiful thing that's not there. So I had to search. I had to always look and find it. Obviously, studying photography.
Tell us two beautiful things in PE.
The sea.
Okay, but you can find the sea anywhere. Next.
No, but our sea is different. Our sea is different. And the sand dunes.
Yeah.
Have you been to Sardinia Bay?
Sardinia Bay is
right?
beautiful. Yeah.
There we go.
Shadows, light.
You
all of that
see.
stuff that you guys like.
There
Yeah.
we go.
Okay.
There we go.
Senzo, I'm going to punish you because you're late. Why were you late? Were you on the phone to your agent?
No.
Have you got a new film? What is it? Why were you late?
Sorry, I went to the toilet quickly.
Really
I'm
was.
sorry.
In his defense, he was.
Got to go when you got to go.
You gotta go when you gotta go.
I must tell you a very funny story. Have you got 2 minutes? So we're all in the business in one way or another. So many years ago, I used to present a quiz show on television, and we used to have breaks during the show. And I remember I was desperate to go. We'd had I won't go into too much detail, but I had to go to the bathroom quite urgently, as you know. Went through to the bathroom, and the guy that was running the sound desk, okay, had forgotten to pull the had forgotten to pull down the fader. We used to do the show in front of maybe 400 people, big audience, and I got back and I just got this tumultuous round of applause. And I thought, why do they like me? What have I done? But it wasn't that.
What a mess.
What's your brand?
So my brand first is Candice Mudisele, my name. Nominal determination, Candice is a queen of Africa.
Yes.
So I'd like to believe in my own right. I am a princess growing into her own, defining herself as an artist and a storyteller, television presenter, actress, lecturer at OnQ Interface School of Television and Radio.
No, but this is just a list of accomplishments.
I
okay?
know.
I mean, and we all
I
know you're
know.
accomplished. What's the essence of the
The
brand?
essence of who I am. The essence of the brand that is me.
Yes.
Honestly, rooted in God. I wouldn't be able to start without acknowledging that. So I'm rooted in God, in prayer, in faith. I am a daughter of an incredible woman, and I think essentially she's a fountain of excellence. So I take so much from my mother, who raised 3 women on her own. So in me defining who I am in that journey, I think essentially that's brought about the accomplishments that I can speak about, and I'm blessed to speak about.
What did your
today.
mother do for you?
What did my mom allowed me to be. And that's the greatest thing that I think a parent can do, is not to necessarily, she did suggest and she did advise. But when I told her I wanted to be an artist and I want to study drama, as a black parent, it's not the most common thing.
Was
that
she
you-
horrified?
Initially, I
Yeah.
mean, your daughter has 5 distinctions in matric and she wants to be an actress. So, yes, I did drop that one, quite subtly. But she...
Only 5.
Only 5. Unfortunately, maths, I was doing maths. Where were the other things?
Yeah.
But she wasn't necessarily overjoyed by the idea, but she trusted in my passion because I'd proven to her countless times that this is what I invest my time and my love in. And so she followed suit.
So
And
the
allowed my
lesson-
sisters to do the same as
One of the
well.
lessons here then is that don't be afraid to follow the dream. So I have a similar story, is that my father was in banking. All he wanted for me to do was to follow him into Nedbank. He's a very old man now. He's 94. I think he knew Ned, okay? But he also allowed me to pursue my dream of journalism. And I just think that whether it's yourself and empowering yourself to follow the dream, or whether you are young parents yourselves, it's an important lesson to impart that you've got to allow people to do that, because only then will they grow and flourish. And to the point that Roger was making a little bit earlier today, he's a happy guy, which is critical. What's your brand when you're not in the bathroom?
Okay, so first, my name is Senzo Guhle, which means we've done very well. So that is my brand. I just want people to know me as a person who've done well, especially with my performance, because I'm known for doing so many things on TV. Okay, I'm not a presenter. I've got so many roles. My CV is getting full. So, but in all those characters, I need people to know that I've done very well. If you don't hate me, if I'm playing a villain, you don't hate me, I did not do very well. So I've been about that I have to do very well.
How do you remember your lines?
Well, with me, I make sure they mine. If you write a script for me and you say, I say hello, and then that character wouldn't say hello, that character would say hola. So I make sure it's mine.
So you internalize it.
Yes, I internalize it.
Is it fair to say that to a greater extent, all of you have achieved a degree of success? Are you happy with, if I lay that on you? Yeah? You're all successful people. That's why you're sitting here, okay?
Yeah.
Okay. So my next question to all of you is, the more successful you are, and particularly when you're in the public eye, and I speak as one of you, I am in the public eye, the more you are afraid of failure. Am I right? I think it lives with us, particularly in the creative space, a lot more than perhaps in the engineering space or the insurance space or whatever the case is. Not to disparage those industries, but we live with a high degree of insecurity. So we're all on the same page.
Yeah.
What are you afraid of, and how do you overcome that fear?
I am afraid of. I am sometimes afraid of myself. I am sometimes afraid of myself because of the things that I can accomplish. Sometimes I wake up and I'm like, I literally have something that I need to do, and it's so overwhelming, I end up thinking to myself that I'm going to fail at doing it. But I realize at that point that I'm already there. I might as well go in and bulldoze my way through the situation that I'm in. So one of my biggest fears is myself, and the success you're talking about, it is obviously per individual, and with us, like you said, you end up being afraid to be successful because you're afraid to fail. But to answer your question, really, I am afraid of myself and what I can do.
It's a very honest answer, and I like the fact that the way in which you overcome that is that you bulldoze the door down.
Yeah, I've bulldozed doors since I was 16. You know, it's not taboo to me anymore. I took myself through school. I got myself this job without an agent, and I'm sustaining myself through this job without. Obviously, I've got a manager now, and I've got a team that helps me build my brand and you know, tell me what to do, or rather advise where to go and what to do. But essentially, the decisions that I take are decisions that come from the fear that is inside of me. I don't know if that makes any sense.
It's a very, very good answer.
I've once made a pledge to myself that I want to become a symbol of what's possible, particularly when the odds are against you. In my case, I'm also a dropout at Wits. I got a serious wake-up call when I got fired from a family business as well. And I was left with basically nothing.
You got fired from the family business.
So
What did you do?
When
They did well.
never disagree with your old man. That's the lesson. But anyway, I've learned that when you get such a wake-up call that you haven't got any friends, you lose friends, and I remember I've had to go to a point where I had to break into my own house because I was facing problems with payments and stuff. And so that's where I got to learn how to start things with nothing. And one of those things that I did was to make, for instance, a symbol of this book. I think I sold about 18,000 copies in about 2 years' time, just to prove a point to say that, look, you don't have to let your idea lay and put them in the shelf just because you don't have capital. There's means and ways on how you can actually get things done. So I'm afraid of failing because of what I've said to be maybe a mission statement to say, I want to become, a symbol of what's possible to someone that...
Fear of yourself, fear of failure. What are you afraid of?
I'm afraid of
You can't have any of those two. No, you can if you want.
not achieving the language to communicate my purpose. Because you can be doing a lot of things and you may not be
Not
communicating
achieving the
the
language to achieve your purpose.
No, yeah,
What does that mean?
Say photography, for instance.
Yeah.
I use that as a tool to kickstart my life. And how it came to be was, I didn't choose photography. I didn't want to do photography. I wanted to do design. But my lecturers were like, no, you're more gifted in this thing, try it out. So I dropped out. And I went and I started a business. I wanted to do design. And I got more photography jobs than I did design. So then I went back to say, okay, I'm ready to do photography.
So sometimes the career just takes you. You don't take the career.
Exactly, exactly. And I had to learn through photography the thing of finding beauty in everything, in every circumstance, in everything I do, just to find beauty. So having the language to have the next person who has the same set of skills that I
Right.
do understand how. It's very difficult to
No,
communicate that
you've
to
communicated. What beauty do you find in this room?
the time everyone took to come and learn. That's beautiful.
It is beautiful.
These people are willing to transform all of them.
Back to the question about fear.
Oh, me. I would say my greatest fear is not living out my potential. I'm aware of the fact that I am built and graced with a lot of talent, a lot of skill, but I'm blessed. And for me to not be able to find the platforms to live that out, to the point that I can say, at the end of the day, that, look, I have achieved, I have given, and I've committed to all that I am, that probably would be my greatest fear. To look back on my life and see the platforms that I'd taken for granted.
So how do you grapple with that every day?
How do I grapple with that? I apply myself in every single
What does that
space.
mean? What do you do?
I show up. So first, being there is one thing.
Pause.
Because a lot of people are afraid to show up.
Folks, listen to that. From a young person, that is incredibly wise advice. You got to show up. That's half the battle won.
That's literally all that it is.
Literally, that's it. Got to show up.
So that's the
Yeah.
first thing, to show myself, and then essentially to have the right conversations, to not be afraid to ask, to acknowledge that I'm not a pool of knowledge, that there's always room for more. And in terms of asking, especially within the craft that I'm in, whether it be television presenting or acting, respectively, if you want to learn more, you need to acquire more knowledge. It can only happen through the people around you. I can never say that I've learned everything. So essentially, to show up and to learn, to be an open vessel, and to be ready to transform.
And leading on from that, one of the other things is to engage people, correct me if I'm wrong, it's to engage people to find out about themselves and not to talk about yourself all the time.
Absolutely.
We all love talking about ourselves, but the older I get, the more interested I am in other people and less interested I am in myself. Having said that, though, given that we're all in the creative space, can you see, everyone just have a look up there? Raise your eyes, just have a look. Can you see them up there? Do you know what that is? It's all our egos bashing against each other. Sense of fear and
Two things, right?
Yeah.
One, missing the things that are right in front of us. Once you're there, once you're in the industry. Because
what,
most
failing
people-
to seize the opportunity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, because here's the thing. Once people know you, you have this thing that, yeah, now I'm there. You know, now I'm there.
But you're
right?
not.
Ego.
Yeah.
So you start missing the opportunities because you're thinking, nah, I'm good with that. I'm good with that.
Yeah.
You know, two companies. One is offering 5,000, one is offering 10,000. You want to go with 10,000, not knowing if that one had more opportunities. Find a way to take both of them. Two, maintaining the standard. You know, sometimes here we drop. I've really seen most actors, once they get there, they start gaining weight. You know? It's like me. I'm here, next thing, I get thinner.
Was the catering too good on set? Yeah.
So I've seen that. Maintain the standard. So that's what I fear. Making sure that I don't miss things that are right in front of me and making sure that I maintain the standard.
So, folks, as we draw to an end, I want you to address the audience directly now. And with all the collective wisdom and experience that you have, in addition to the profiles that you have, give them one piece of advice on how to build their lives. What would you say to them?
Igama lami nguSiphesihle ngakavazi Sibongo ngugaba ngumuntu omlambo ngumsuthu ngutikolosho ngunoziya nguthithi ngizalwa umanqumalo ke mina. That's the first step. Know who you are, know yourself, and whatever comes your way will always manifest towards what is meant for you, as long as you know yourself. You can't let someone define who you are. I mean, I'm a TV presenter today. I literally woke up a TV presenter. Literally, I woke up a TV presenter. Ngangisesikoleni and bengenza marketing communication. Before that, I was in a boarding school for 4 years. Ngidlala iraphi, ngaphuka idolo. So, by knowing who I was able to to accept what God had brought closer to me. And like what Anele said, it brought me closer to my purpose. And yes, Jeremy, you might hate the term, but it is a reality that as soon as uzazi ukuthi wena ubani wenzani, you are able then to service abanye abantu. I sometimes even call myself a helper because I'm able to assist other people reinvent who they are. You know what I'm saying? So, but only if you know yourself. You cannot reinvent who you are if you don't know who you are. I don't know if that makes any sense again.
Good advice. Let's move down the line. Olafella?
Okay. My advice to entrepreneurs, especially someone who's just getting started, is, and even those who are existing, is that the majority of us are facing this thing called fear, and most of what we want is on the other side of fear. And if we can find a way to break through that fear, irrespective of what it takes, I think we're gonna experience a different life altogether. Because if you are willing to become a success in this thing called business, it's been said you need to be prepared to serve. In the first place, I believe we are here on earth to serve. If you're not serving in any means and you are selfish, you want to keep everything to yourself, then you're going to find it extremely difficult. And it's one of the reasons why people fail to get their ideas out there, because they are so much in love with their own ideas that they forget about the other person who's supposed to buy into that
And
idea.
I will add to this that the hallmark these days of the modern economy is collaboration.
Yes.
And that's another way of sharing.
Yes.
Let's hear the sage piece of advice from Port Elizabeth.
My advice would be engage your reality 100%. And by that I mean your failures and as well as your success. If you put other things at the back of your head and think, I'll just soldier on, even if it fails, I'll just soldier on, you're missing the point. It's similar to like pain, if I speak about pain. It's the one mechanism that the body uses to tell you that something is wrong. You know, if you don't know that, then
It's living your daily reality.
Exactly,
But
but
and seeing the
engaging
opportunities
fully.
within that reality. Right now, every single person here during the course of the day has been presented with opportunities. The trouble is, most of us
Don't
haven't seen
engage.
them, and that's
Yeah.
an important point.
I think personally for me, can you hear me? Can you? I would say that God and life are not committed to your comfort, but committed to your transformation. So essentially, if ever you find yourself becoming too comfortable, understand that you're missing the point, you're missing the blessing, you're missing the work. Because what goes into the greatest of moments and blessings and achievements is hard work. If you're not willing to put in the work, you're not willing to achieve your blessing, and then you don't deserve it.
And the final word, obviously, if you're an entrepreneur and you've got a really important meeting, don't go to the toilet before all of them. You're never going to live that down. Give us that sage piece of advice, and then we're going to call it quits.
One, as you said, collaboration,
Yeah.
Yeah.
right? We have this thing with once I'm there, then I'm good. I don't need anyone to tell me anything. It's like the gym. There's always one guy who's skinny and tell you, no, you cannot do bicep curls this way. And you look at him, you're like, but you're this skinny, bro. What's going on? You know? Just always be open for advice and collaborate with people.
Always open for advice. That's also critical. Folks, you're all winners in my book. Thank you very much.
Thank you.